It's day 5 of Woohoojin's Radiant Valorant ranked grind. Yesterday we left Woohoojin in the grips of Ascendant 3, being as low as 0 RR on Tracker, but managing to bounce back on his last game, bringing him up to 21 RR. Today, Woohoojin has asked for help. He's brought in his buddy DOPAI, a fellow coach, to be able to look at his Raze gameplay and give him some tips. So today we're going to be looking at the same bind clip first, and then we're going to see DOPAI'S perspective and make our comments on both perspectives. I can't wait to watch this one. Let's jump in. Alright, today we're looking at Bind, and as we've talked about before with Bind is a map that is very, very important to control the extremities. We're talking about showers, we're talking about long, and the reason why we need to control those areas on this map are primarily because of the big TP over here, and again, pushing back the enemy to a more defensible position. Controlling showers early on into the round will force the enemy team typically between bench and into triple, so it's forcing them onto the site and allowing them to play a little bit more humbled, limiting rotations and forcing them into those long rotates. Again, the TP can be used here, obviously, to start doing flanks and whatnot, but if you control this area here, you control this area here, you have the ability to quickly rotate, hit sites, and make the other team rotate or be lost in translation through rotation all the time. So getting this space for sure is important, and this space is great too. Now, obviously, Woohoojin is going to be playing Raze, so one of the major factors is Raze obviously has great movement ability to be able to get into the bomb sites using hookah, so we're going to see him staging through this spot a lot. However, and we're going to see him also staging through short. However, the big factor is will his team be competent enough to be able to control the long area and the short and the shower area? If they're not willing to do those things, and oftentimes in ranked we'll see 5 people sometimes barrel rolling through hookah or barrel rolling through short, what Woohoojin needs to identify really quickly is that if this is happening, he needs to take the reins and start taking control of showers or taking control of the long area, and then slowly but surely working his way back towards hookah or short to start that stage and that double satchel play, usually into sight, to be able to start taking the sites. If he does this competently and he's able to control those two spaces, slow down the pace of play a little bit, I can see no problem with him winning this match. Let's take a look.
No, there's nothing.
Unless they're all
1A, 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 3A. Put the one way up, put the one way up. One's through.
We talk a lot about controlling this space and how least important it really is. When you think about it in a post-plant situation, if they do take control of U-Haul, what does it really get them? Most of the time they're planting on truck, and when they plant on truck, they have to fully come out of here to be able to defend the bomb if they're sitting in there. The only thing it really benefits them is this Z-Haul down here, where they're able to get through and potentially challenge on the back site. But that's easily controlled just by having showers control early on and controlling its back lane, kind of like an L shape, if you will. This space is the most important one to be able to stage a retake, especially against the common strategy of having a sage wall being placed across. Now, obviously, we don't have a sage in this comp, which is important to be reading into as well, but a lot of times when you're playing in your own ranked games, you'll see a sage place a wall like this, and if you control this area here, break the wall, they have nothing really to work with because their play space is constricted to this spot. Controlling showers, on the other hand, if you control that area, not only do you have the staging ground completely secured, but you can also start a flank and force that suffocation onto the team that is in post plant. So the real problem I have with this space control, which he's doing because he has the nade and he has the ability to be able to kind of challenge this area a little bit, he has a sheriff. So obviously for the first fight, it makes sense. But then when you go into this space again afterwards, you're forcing a long range weapon against short range pistols, and that could be a little bit dangerous and dicey.
Spike planted.
Trades are not going well for us right now, so wrapping towards the long, here's people at bench. That's a big kill right there. Huge entry, we love saying that. So now it's winnable again. So this is something that we need to see Woohoojin doing a lot more of, is just taking the round in his own hands. He has the ability. If he has been in Radiant before, he should be able to diff a lot of these players. So doing this is great. He's going to have to step up and carry sometimes. We have a nade active. I like the nade there. I'm okay with it. The nade towards lamps could have been a good option as well. Aware of a potential showers here.
Yeah.
One enemy remaining.
Massive. Oh, we love it.
Give me that shit. Give me that shit.
Thanks.
Bang.
Now, like, the big factor here is not only did he get a great...
motherfucker. Everyone who's spectating me say, dude, legit, he's cheating. I reported him. Sorry.
This is a great start for Woohoojin because we've seen so many starts so far where we've reviewed these games where it's just not going well for him and he starts getting frustrated. So now he's on a high, so we'll see if he can carry this on. The other big factor here is how quickly he's going to be building into his rocket. So this is really, really beneficial for him right now.
Tell them I'm cheating. Destroy their mental.
I used to do shit like this all the time when I was competing. It's like try to get into other people's heads. For anyone who's watching this game, I always recommend that you mute the enemy team. There's really no value you get from having them active at all. Even when they say that the person's AFK, half the time they're lying and you end up getting caught. So it's just, there's really no value. Just remove them altogether. Okay, so it's going to be interesting to see how he changed up his positioning. The one factor here, obviously he has a long range weapon and they have no armor. I'm totally okay with the outlaw buy and I'm totally okay with him playing this angle again. However, he has been revealed here once before. So going into future rounds, there will be pre-aims, there will be cross replacements, there might even be double peaks from this area like this. As soon as you get into these higher ranks, they start countering common tendencies. So Woohoojin has to be careful about playing this spot over and over again.
Telling them that.
Short one.
I'm surprised too, like he was revealed here. To have someone swing like this is a little bit wild to me.
They bought.
I literally pre-fired, chat. Holy fuck.
He's feeling himself right now.
Spike down A.
Grenade! It's through short.
Such a different energy about this. I'm not sure I agree with this movement here. Let me go back a little bit.
I literally pre-fired, chat. Holy fuck.
He's feeling himself. He's a little bit excited, so the energy might be flowing a little bit. When you have a long range weapon against short range weapons, keep the long range. These smokes only last for 13 seconds. I think in general, right now, being it's a 5v3 situation, we don't need to do anything more. We can literally just hold this line and just wait for the smokes to go away. His teammate is currently in showers right now, so he's going to need the most amount of support. And he can hold this entire line right here to protect Gecko while Gecko fights forward if he decides to.
Grenade!
That's exactly what he should be doing right now. If they are in smokes, which is a very, very high possibility being that they're on eco and they're low numbers, there could be someone pushing through here. What happens if they end up pushing him through here when they catch him while he's falling down? This is all factors. Now the other thing too, this nade being thrown this early into this part of the round, what was the reason for this? This could have been easily used to delay a plant or bank it into an area where you know in post plant could be a problem for you as you're scaling up. Interesting questions to ask. So now we're closing the distance here. I think he's afraid of someone just jetting into this space, but if that's the case, could you not just hold it from here?
U-Haul.
Clearly hearing someone on site.
U-Haul.
One enemy
Huge.
remaining.
Peeking.
My ult's ready.
There's one in U-Haul right now. Alright.
Bro, I'm not even joking. I
people backside.
pre-fired my second bullet as I dropped, and it hit the raise as she peeked.
7-0. This is the strongest start we've seen him play. But already I'm kind of worried because I believe he's letting ego get to him. He's getting a little too excited and the dopamine effect is starting to take effect. What that means is whenever you get a kill, a lot of us fall into this trap of getting super excited and looking for the next one. It almost feels like Woohoojin's getting into that state because there's a few decisions that he's making right now that is a little questionable, and challenging close range angles, for example, with a long range weapon could be one of those factors in showing that that's what's happening right now. Okay, changing up positioning, so important to do. If you're playing an operator, you're playing an outlaw, you need to be actively moving around. Another massive factor here is the finances. So I'm just going to go back just a little bit so we can see that. As we can see in the situation, the last round we bought up. So this is actually really massive for us. So now we're going to have some rounds being rolled in our favor. Again, we can just hold the outlaw here. I was really against him playing the outlaw in a lot of past episodes, but this round and the previous one, totally fine so far with what he's doing with the outlaw.
You smoke showers?
Love this. Now, again, the most important areas of control is going to be long. So challenging for long is great. What some people may argue is that well, they're going to probably come from the short angles. That's totally fine. If they end up flooding, let's say 5, worst case scenario, through hookah, what are they going to do about you? You have control of this entire area. You still have the ability to escape with TP. And once they come firing through hookah, there's so many angles they have to worry about that the last one they're thinking about is garden and long. So unless they smoke it off, we're going to have a great power position and control. Even if they get bomb site, if you defend and hold this space, you're still creating such a massive staging ground and an easy ability to start suffocating on a post plant. As soon as you get the 1 kill, yeah, perfect. So we boombot here, and the reason why we want to boombot is get the info. See if there's anyone else that's in there, and if there's no one else there, this gives us an ability to now move again. You might want to fire one more shot before you leave to make them think that you're still here, and then move to another bomb site or move to another angle altogether so that you can keep the enemy guessing.
One more shower. Has a vandal.
Do we need to do this? This is a big investment of a rocket. I feel like the dopamine effect is kind of just overtaking his head right now. It's so interesting to see this from the opposite perspective since the last few games have just been really difficult for Woohoojin. This is highly unnecessary.
One enemy remaining.
Could this rocket, the question really is could this rocket have been used to get value on a different round? We've already locked this round down being 4v2 and they're on eco. Is it overkill? I argue yes. Still lacking on a little bit of money here, but not enough that we can justify still holding the outlaw, in my opinion. If I go back, I believe there was an opportunity here where there could have been a vandal down. Yeah, there's a vandal right here. So why didn't we pick this up? Why are we holding on to this gun? He seems to have an outlaw fetish. Now I'm questioning the outlaw. The last few rounds were okay, but this is now questionable. The thing is that maybe he's thinking that they're brainless and that they're going to keep buying half armor. But after you've revealed, and at this level you should assume, after you revealed that you've had an outlaw for 2 rounds, certainly they're going to start buying full armor. Certainly they start doing that, right? Changing up the angles, we have aggressive long, great. We have that organized, and we are holding hookah in a different off angle. 2 towards hookah right now, looking like a B split. Ballsy peek, love it. He's definitely feeling himself right now, which is great.
One more. Cypher with hookah.
We didn't go.
Yeah, someone go pick up A. Both, all three. I'm tucked. I'm sitting inside the team.
I'm holding hookah, Gecko.
They smoke me.
Calling what you're watching. It's so, I talk about it all the time. So important to do that. Now, what is going on here?
They smoked me. They
I'm gonna
smoked
hold
me.
Fuck.
We knew that Reyna was there. What was the reason behind the peek? Was there any need to peek? It's a 3v2 situation.
They smoked me. They smoked
Could we instead lead? Oh wow, he does get hit. Wow, he gets hit. He gets pre-fired hit. I think what happened was, in this situation, he jumped up and revealed the top of his head over.
I'm gonna hold up.
Yeah, this must be what happened here. Revealed the top of his head, so he started shooting through the wall, potentially. A little unlucky, but the same token, did we even need to do that? Was that the angle we needed to peek from? And could we have not sent a boombot in to confirm before we decided to peek? There's still a lot of time left in the round. Everything that you do should be based around the timer when you're on defense. Did we need to peek for info? No, we knew that he was there. We could have potentially done a jump peek and not committed to anything here, but was there really a need to go for a fight here? Could the dopamine effect be taking effect here and making him make bad decisions? Any sort of emotion will typically, when not under control and left unchecked, can lead to a lot of really bad decisions overall. So controlling both layers of emotions is so important. You ever watch the Sentinels VODs where they're going through communication after the round's done? You'll often hear people like Zelsis, for example, saying, everyone take a breath. The reason why they take a breath is to bring them back down and centered and focused on the here and now, staying here, staying present. If you focus on the past, whether it be a good or a negative, it can oftentimes throw you off in the current and in the now. And you can't make good, clear, concise decisions if you continue to be in an emotional state. So controlling those emotions is very, very important. And you'll often see in competition for even sports, a big outpour of emotion after the event is done. And the reason for this is that the fighters, the athletes, whoever it is, has been holding on and being very, very disciplined with their emotions all the way through training camp and the actual event itself. Going with the Outlaw again. I didn't get a chance to see the money. Okay, so this round it's okay to have Outlaw because they're probably half armor or they're eco, one of the two. This is now the third time we've seen Woohoojin play this position. So if I'm the enemy team, I'm starting to double peek this and trying to go for a free one.
DP.
There's still one hookah. Still one hookah. They're gonna come into you, Reyna.
So you can see it's so powerful to control long. Because look, they've already rotated 4 people here. So that means now they have a free post plant in theory. Good positioning by our Reyna right here to start heading off a potential rotation from anyone who hasn't hit TP. But again, you can see the effect as we talked about at the beginning of the game. Controlling that space right there gives you the ability to leave at any point in time and totally catch you off. So now we have to assume that they're on site and in showers. We should have control of backsite. We should have control of U-Haul in theory here. So that means the only enemies are in this vicinity right now. So we should be actively ready, and Woohoojin is ready for a potential push out into the backside area right here. So he's going to clear out bench. Awesome. Going slow and slicing the pie. Paying attention to this. As you're rotating, you should be able to assess where the threat is. You look there and you should automatically know exactly where your crosshair placement is going to be. Right side now, showers. If he's going to go, he's going to hold it for a bit. Okay. Smoke comes out. So they have to be in showers. The last two have to be in showers at this point.
One enemy remaining.
Perfect way to stick on it. Good. Excellent. And round's over. Beautiful. So great slice in the pie here from Woohoojin. We're starting to see a really strong set of modalities from him. Very Radiant-esque. Very well thought out. Finally going with the Vandal here. Maybe not. They still don't have money, so he's making a really good point here. Why not just go for an outlaw? So I'm totally okay. I think there's one round I was questioning it, but this is totally fine. This is now 4 rounds we've seen him holding this position. Potential holes. As he's getting higher and up in rank, this is going to be red. This will be countered. It's holding a deeper line here to see if you can catch people off guard if they do swing. Okay, certainly they know that he likes to play here now, so this should be a spot where it will be threatened. Challenging through smokes. One on triple and probably one, yep, there's one on the right. And lamps. This is going to be one of the harder situations to get out of, being that you only have an outlaw. So you have to hope for peaks. For Reyna and for Clove in this situation, they should never peek, knowing that there's an outlaw active. That's the only way you can let Woohoojin back into this round. So if you ever notice that there's an operator playing against you and you're low numbers, just wait for them to scale on site. Same idea here, honestly, if they have a rifle. Woohoojin's going to have to leave heaven, and as soon as Woohoojin gets down to the ground, he's now exposed to a million different angles. That's when you actually want to be peeking and timing it together in theory. The worst thing you can do is give him ones like the Reyna did. Luckily it worked out for Reyna and not to Woohoojin's benefit.
Take showers as well.
All right, buying an operator. Here we go, and we're going to take showers control. So again, controlling 2 of the most important lanes on the map. Talking about long, talking about showers. It looks like he's backing off now for some reason. He's changed his mind. Okay, changing his mind. I recommend sticking to whatever plan you start with and just going with it. Because a lot of times, if you change your mind, you establish doubt in your head sometimes, you run that risk, and you also can't really formulate and visualize the fights that are coming in place. So just pick one thing, whatever your gut says, and stick with it. We're in big trouble. Okay, so the reason, again, why you need to stick with your plan is because things change on the fly, and if you don't visualize, you can't really strategize. Look at the alts that are here. These are all important factors to be thinking about, because if you're looking at Rays and how they like to satchel in and use their ult, the last thing you want to do is put yourself into a snookered position. What that means is, let's say for example, we just saw Woohoojin going into sight. This might not have been well thought out because he didn't have that time to visualize what could happen, what could be thrown at him. So he goes into the back site here, and of course the enemy Raze starts popping Showstopper. So what is this Raze going to do? Naturally going to be bouncing her way into the back site. And this is going to be a terrible spot for Woohoojin to be in. So now he's backed off to this area, and if she had caught wind of him at all, he's cooked in the situation. So whatever happens at the beginning of the round, whatever your plan is, stick with the plan. If you have to change things up on the fly afterwards, do so, but at least commit to whatever plan you had in place. Let's see what happens here as Woohoojin gets into this position and starts getting ulted. Moving into the backside area here, gets revealed, naded, leered, backed off. Luckily, he was able to get out with a good satchel play. He saw the trap coming in and was able to leave, which is great. So now what he should be doing is grabbing the staging ground, which is the elbow area, and waiting to get set up with Gecko to drop an ult in, either to flood into the site if the team is ready to go from obviously hookah control and compressing that from both sides, or waiting till plant happens and then going for the execution afterwards. Controlling the elbow space as we were hoping for. Viper's in a great position, so is Reyna, and now that we're compressing in, and we've used our Gecko ult, which is fantastic. So that's exactly what we want to be seeing, a great stage into the ground, into the round, in between a flood and in between a retake, one of the two. Just for everyone's understanding, flooding is either prior to the plant or just as the plant is going down, you flood into the site. It's something that you can commonly say to your team, let's flood, so let's flood, or you say we're gonna full retake. Now you maintain staging grounds into the bomb site. So the staging grounds for either one is very, very important. You think about what we need to control to be able to get back into the site. We have this entry into the site, and then this entry into the site, while the enemy teams hold the long entry. So if we have 3 entries in this bomb site with 1 entry being held by the enemy team, it's usually going to be a check mark for the team that has more entries into the bomb site, and that's exactly why this round goes incredibly well. Grabbing the op. Now I think he's going to go showers.
Yeah.
Nope, he's going back into this position. At this point, you have to just go out and pre-fire this spot every single round you're on the enemy team. Highly dangerous. There are ops potential on the field as well.
You got my showers, Gecko?
I love that. Confirming and asking. They might not even answer, but at the very least, you bring it up, and now you absolve yourself of guilt. If someone ends up killing you from showers, you've done everything you could to make it work. Another thing I want you to think about, and I've talked about this in other videos, when you're opping, if you're taking probably like 30 seconds to hold an angle and nothing's happening, don't be afraid to take a shot and change your positioning up. Sometimes taking that shot is enough to deter a team from hitting your bomb site, and then you can shift over to the other bomb site, for example, or you can shift towards showers, or you can change your position altogether. Just doing this once, a lot of times, will start putting things in the enemy's head, and a lot of times at this level, if you shoot an op shot, it will prevent them from wanting to go into that bomb site, and usually go to another bomb site altogether, right? Usually they want to avoid the op. So I'm not saying do that right now, but definitely we could see that being a thing. The only reason why Woohoojin wouldn't want to do that is because he doesn't want them to reveal or know that he likes playing from top of truck. But the thing is, we've seen him play top of truck 4 or 5 times now, and the enemy team has seen him play that spot as well. So it's not like we're giving up too much information if we did it. Now, another reason why you want to do this as well is that it's a 5v3 situation, and we don't necessarily need to be holding this far up. We could always be playing back towards heaven right now and get ready for retake. Okay, so he's back in this position. I really want to see him get punished once for doing this. There's the Reyna eye. This is what I was hoping for. Didn't end up working out. So far, so good. 9-1-1/2 is looking really solid going into attacker side.
I'm not flanking, just rotate.
If this race is any better, I'm telling you, he's gonna get laid out.
Planning A.
Planning A.
They were both A. I've got rocket.
Spike planted.
So it's very important for Woohoojin to stay alive here. So if he just holds this line right here, waiting for his teammates to come in, as soon as they're ready to stage and they get this area, he can now rocket and satchel in, and that can help with his retake. That's how he should be layering this. So we don't want to see him over peeking here and getting picked off. That's the worst case scenario. He's got the win condition right now. Showers. There we go. We're now in a stage position. He gets the trade, and that's okay. It is what it is. If we're going to look at this on a technical standpoint, one of the things that I've talked about with certain students about satcheling in, and this is a really difficult place to satchel in, so I don't blame him for it, but he needs to be in mid-satchel before he ends up peeking out here. So if you watch what happens, he ends up going out of showers, and he's exposed himself in line in a normal stance before he's actually popped the satchel. So the satchel almost needs to be popped while he's jumping midair into this area. What he's concerned about probably is bumping his head on the top of the roof that he's going underneath right now. But that's going to be a matter of him going into a server and practicing that setup so that he doesn't have this problem again. Nice. Reyna takes the deep line. Oh, we should have left. So this is another operator fundamental. And I kind of attribute this again to emotions and dopamine. You get a kill, a lot of people decide to move forward again. Whenever you get a kill as an operator or even as a rifler, really on defense, you should be thinking about getting a kill and then falling back. And in this case, changing lines. We talked about how the operator in Raze's hands is very, very powerful because you can change elevations really quickly. You usually will start off in a high ground where you're using an agent, say like Omen or Sage or Raze in this case for elevations, even Jet for example, and then afterwards you would change elevations again. How you do that, you drop down to the ground. So if we're going to go back a little bit, the way that we want to be taking this fight, get this first pick here, and then we back off and hold a more shallow line. So we move to the right here, drop off, and then hold this line right here from this angle right here. You could even go, because you still have satchels active, even further right against this box or against this wall in the back corner, put a satchel onto the right wall if you wanted to, and then hold this line right here. So a deeper line where you can catch people slipping when they're trying to clear this angle. So if you're playing back in this corner, by the time an enemy decides to move across to this position, a lot of times crosshair placement after it's cleared out this corner will draw to here, being this is a common spot where enemies could potentially be on elbow, especially when they don't have control of hookah like our teammates Reyna currently has control over. So this is a spot that they need to be worried about. So right away, they'll fall into a crosshair, usually on this spot, if our team has not smoked this area out. On top of that, if it is smoked out, this is a great line to hold the smoke on the left-hand side. He could shift to the right if a smoke goes down on that from his teammates as well. The point being is we don't want to peek the same angle twice, and he pays the price for it. Nade goes in to clear this area. Good timing on the nade, and catches one. Perfect. We love seeing this. This is a great entry. Works really well for us.
One more.
Moves forward a little too fast. Could we have waited a little bit longer? Let's see. Yes, we could have. We now have the Vandal in our hands, and the wall is still active, so we don't necessarily need to move into this spot right away. We could have waited, bounced off our boombot to this area, and clear out the rest of it while we're scaling into it if we wanted to take it. Once again, this space is totally unnecessary to be holding, and really not that strong of a position on a post plant anyway.
One more. It's closed.
You could kind of judge this as, again, potential dopamine effect. You get one kill, you're looking for the next one. A lot of times, my recommendation whenever I see this is once you get that one first initial kill on any bomb site, slow down, freeze, and think about what your next move is. This really helps a lot with putting in perspective what needs to be done next. Now, the thing that I want to hear is how is Thrash going to be used and where's it going to go so that Woohoojin can play off of it properly. We do know that the satchel is going to be going in. Again, this Viper Wall goes up, which could be distracting. Nade goes in. We just heard a detain. Okay, he's not timing. Oh no. Did you guys catch that? That was insane. That timing was crazy. So first of all, the nade and the timing on it, we feel like we need to rush in a little bit because we hear the detain. So we're getting excited. We're thinking, again, we're going back to the dopamine effect. Oh my God, kill. There's a freebie right here, right? Watch what this clove does. It's like literally a frame if I move it quickly. Let's go. Let's move it forward a little bit. The nade goes out. Now the timing on which he satchels is the issue here because he's trying to catch the timing on the detain. But the crazy thing that happens is that when he goes to satchel in, the clove times perfectly a metal. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, metal is the decay ability. As I'm going through the frames here, look at this metal getting thrown in. Completely random metal. In fact, unless you know that there's a rush coming in, which there's a high chance because Thrash was going through here, it makes no sense to toss a metal this early into the round. You need to be highly committed on that metal. Clearly, this is a read from this enemy clove that there's probably a rush, and smartly so, as there is a Thrash coming in. But just be aware of that as you're playing normally. He does get decayed here. Oh my goodness. Jumps into it, and unfortunately because his nade hasn't gone off yet, he'll take himself out from it. which is so unlucky, unfortunate, but so well played by the enemy Clove. You just gotta take your hats off for this one. Now, the answer or the understanding that Woohoojin needs to have here is, I know mechanically he's practiced enough to know the timing of how to satchel into his own nade where there won't be any damage to him. But clearly what he needs to do is slow himself down when he hears those opportunistic moments, because he's getting too excited on the fact that there could be a stat attached to the next satchel he throws down. So stats are usually the devil when it comes to everyone's decision making, even Woohoojin's.
I have you all.
You shouldn't challenge him here because of the shotgun.
Oh, Gecko.
They know that I just have a judge in here.
Oh, ask for Gecko ult now. This is actually a win condition situation. If we Gecko ult through here and he pops, this should be an easy scale in situation. This would be a perfect time to do it. Why not? Go for it. We need to win this round. Certainly now we do it, right? Ask for it. Gecko ult the Gecko ult. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Do it. Otherwise we're cooked. Oh no, we're cooked.
He's pushing me. You haul Gecko? Could you help?
Gecko! Oh, he got hit too. Oh, worst case scenario. Now, this is the thing. I understand why we're afraid to commit Gecko ult, but there's so often times where you miss easy win conditions or potential win conditions because you hold back. Now, the other Gecko was not willing to hold back. They're good to go. They're going to go for it. So because of that, we ended up losing this on ult battle. Now, how is this Woohoojin's fault? Well, Woohoojin could have asked for the alternate situation to be enabled in that spot. And why not go for it? What are we saving it for? A lot of times we'll say, well, we need to save it for the gun round because we can get the most amount of value. Sure, there's some reason behind that. But with Woohoojin being so close there, he could have easily gotten a bunch through CT. At the very least, you would have stalled for the bomb, and that would have increased your chances significantly in winning this round and potentially making it 11-10. Anytime you're in rank, keep the game simple. If you can get a bunch of rounds won, that immediately shifts everything. Momentum goes in your favor, and mental on the other side goes through the tubes. Remember, we started this half 9-3. And as many of you might be saying in the comments, 9-3 curse is real. A lot of that is because a lack of willingness to play to win, when a lot of us play not to lose. Are we gonna Gecko ult stage this, or what are we gonna do here? Let's not hesitate. When are we planning on using the Gecko ult if we weren't going to do it before? What could we have said to be able to enable ourselves here? Could we not Gecko ult into lamps here and then satchel in through truck at the same time? What is the plan here? Seems like we're just giving up. See, all these fights that are being taken right now, first of all, the biggest issue is, again, we talked about this at the beginning of the game, who's controlling this space? Who's controlling this space? We're all going through this area right now, we're just asking to die, and this is a gun round. It's not like this is like some eco round where we're trying to generate something crazy. We have guns. Obviously, we do have a little bit of eco, so it's a bit of a broken buy. We're not even one little inclining of trying to control this space, and because of that, we probably have one here opping, and then one back site. So this whole area here is useless. A bunch of questions have to be asked. What's the plan for using this Gecko ult, if there is one? When are we planning on using it, because we didn't use it last round? And are we considering map control? One of the things, or the key factors that a lot of players sleep on when it comes to shower control, is the ability to push back the enemy team, as we alluded to at the beginning of this game. If you control showers, even at the beginning, just announcing presence in this area, a lot of times the enemy team will not pass this line, especially at this level. Later on, in higher levels, they'll do something called a recontest, where they'll attack it with numbers and try to retake that space for information purposes and for recontesting control over the staging ground so that you can't stage an execution to the bomb site. But at this level, a lot of times you can take this space and then just back off and go to another bomb site, and the entire time the enemy team will not challenge showers again. What does this do for you? This humbles the enemy team into playing a more defensible position back here and allows you to now control the rotation, which is going to be a longer rotation, as we talked about earlier on, and allow you to either freely go and hit B site or leave again, forcing them in this confusion of where do we go in position based on our rotation. So it's very important to challenge that space early on either long or showers, to be able to get control of those spaces and not allow for all this freedom on the backside triple to be playing all these different angles to make it impossible for you to scale up on the short or the hookah angles on B site and A site. And now we're in a spot where we're losing a crazy situation. When you're in a 9-3, it's literally this simple, chat. All you gotta do is build your alts. Build this alt, build this alt, build Clove alt, and you just win. Even a Viper alt placed to entry or to distract is massive. Just build your alts and you win on attrition and alt economy alone. So many people struggle with the 9-3 curse, but it's this unwillingness to farm orbs and farm your ultimates and execute off of it, which causes the problem. So now we're just using this alt because it's the last round, might as well. So there's really no, we've already missed like 2 or 3 opportunities for value, and that's what we held it for. See what we held it for? Absolutely nothing. We got 0 value on this, and we had 2 or 3 opportunities in the previous rounds where we could have either staged into the bomb site or held for post plant and gotten way more value than we got just right there.
Bro, we didn't break that shit.
And that's that. Let's hear what DOPAI has to say.
Honestly, I like that you're going B long because of the gun. I probably would have just peeked hookah here. Because if they're on low buy, I don't think they come long. I would expect them to go hookah.
See, and this is where macro coaches and rank coaches will butt heads. I tend to be a little bit in between both of them. I understand where the mentality comes from DOPAI. It's like, where's the next kill? Where are the fight's going to be coming from? How can you take the game by the balls, by the horns, if you will, and be able to dictate the pace of play? So that's where that mindset's coming from. You can challenge for fights here. That's where the fights are going to be coming from. You can ask for Reyna leers. 100%. Totally makes sense. But again, those fights can happen here to here, as we talked about earlier. And if you control this space, you control the rotation, you control a significant section of the map that must be challenged by the enemy team. So getting the forward momentum here and holding this space, I personally prefer.
No tag, you could probably leave now. TP showers if you really want to push it. Yep, nice.
Let's see what he thinks about this. I think it's way too overcommitted.
I'm done for this.
I'm not. That one I disagree with.
Nice, really good. Double single satchels. Should get the Vandal there, but it's fine.
We're shooting like
At least we agree on that one, DOPAI. We should get the Vandal there.
One outside B long.
I had to backseat these bucks to double up long too.
Yeah, but that's normal. That's normal ranked situations here, Woohoojin.
Oh, this is... He just got spams.
Right.
Oh, that's huge.
Now, when you backseat a person, just to make comment on that, what you want to do in ranked is always suggest a play. Don't sit there saying, do this, this, and this. Suggest a play. How do you guys feel about doubling up long here and I hold this space for you?
One more.
And if the person ends up saying, no, I don't feel like doing that, that's fine. But at least we're all on the same page doing some sort of plan.
A long one, yeah. That's good.
I'm sitting inside.
Let's see what he says about this.
I'm holding hookah gecko.
See if he catches it, because I'm pretty sure...
Now I get insecure. I don't know if I'm gonna hold
I mean, that's fine. Taking the fight long isn't bad, especially if you know you can't cross left yet.
Okay. Yeah,
Smoke is there.
I always king. This happens to me pretty frequently now. It's like a pattern, and I keep dying to this long guy. One round, I decided I would just like hold a line on a long guy, but they walked up on me because they crossed. Obviously, if they're hookah, it's easy.
Yep. So the easy solution is notice how you're jump spotting here. You can literally just do the same thing and jump spot long and hookah at the same time.
Yeah, so that's what I was doing that one round, but they'd already crossed long. And here there's a smoke. They got to pick long. So this Reyna could be left side octagon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And if she just shift walks out towards front sight, no jump spot will see her.
I see what you're saying.
Then play back.
That's what
play back sight.
Yeah, so I'm like insecure about that. And I
then play in CT. Why are we challenging at all? Play in CT or play in elbow, hold this space. What's the likelihood of this Reyna walking all the way through here and flanking you? Probably next to none. That would have to be the read of the century. She would have to be stream sniping you. Why do we fight at all? There's 1 minute and 14 seconds left on the clock. You fall back into this space right here, or you fall back right here and hold this line right there. And that's it. You hold the staging ground, and it's 3v2. Once they plant the bomb, you win. They have to. The big thing here on Bind is that once they commit to the plant, they're locked into the site, obviously. The problem that we have here is that if you give up this pick, they now have free space to hit TP. And now our team is completely off position. So they get a free post plant, and now they're in the driver's seat. The last thing you want to do is take a fight here. by your justification.
So then if they have that timing, your two options would be going cubby. Because
No.
the smoke is up, you could cross and then hold.
No.
If they hookah drop, you can have the line on them anyways.
No.
Or you literally just jump spot hookah for a little bit, give sight, and just go elbow. I'm
Yes.
fine with that too.
Yes. Let's go. Let's go to fight.
That makes more sense, actually.
See, I'm a person that is always playing passive, so I'm always more of the passive route for sure. That's to my detriment in some situations, but in a 3v2 situation, it doesn't call for an aggressive play. This calls for a complete passive play.
But honestly, my go-to is just going here. I'm really confident in holding the off angle on the long walkout, and then if they fight like drop hookah, it's pretty much a good kill.
But why? Why do we need to?
Of course, you have a scope weapon here, so it's a little bit harder.
Yeah, that too.
No, I don't mind.
I wouldn't even do it with a vandal.
It's fair.
I think this is one of those examples where you just keep the game simple.
Laziness online.
Yeah, I would change the angle here. You played here 3 times. U-haul is good, where you dodge flash peek right.
I agree with DOPAI there, as we talked about earlier.
To push, so I see.
I've got nades. They're not out yet.
Yeah, this is fine too. I like that you don't run out just because they have raised nades still. So sitting in spawn smoke is good.
Yeah.
If you did want to run out, you would have to go into tube.
And then the other thing too is
also
what's the advantage of moving out into back site? We already have teammates that are on site. They're not being challenged right now. Is there any need to have another person in there? Top of that, you have a sniper rifle. You running through uncontrolled territory potentially and not really know what's being on the other side, what's being seen. You just running out in that area, it's just gonna basically get you killed, regardless of a raise nade or not.
Look, shit disappears way faster than burn.
Yep. TP.
TP.
Yep.
There's still one who.
That's something that you can be really proactive about with the TP, because they know you play A. So at this point here, you could just throw your nade long to show that you're here, and then just go back.
That's smart.
Yeah,
That's smart. I agree with that one. That's really good. That right there is conditioning because they know that you play in that one position. The one hold I just noticed too was as we were rotating, we could have looked at the minimap and noticed that Gecko was leaving, and we could have suggested to Gecko, do you like staying there just in case they TP into elbow?
Is definitely the right reposition play. Yeah. So this boom
I think we're cooking a bit.
bot I wouldn't do just because we're trying to go for that timing. They saw you back sight. Doing this exposes you.
But here's my argument. Would you not assume there's someone here in a 4v3 already? Would you not assume that there's threat? So regardless of this, is it not like already info that's already given?
I would go all the way. But
Spike planted.
it should work.
One enemy
Yeah,
remaining.
last one long. Here is good. Nice.
Send-
The thing that you really want to consider here is if you are going to throw a nade, your timing with the nade, right? So if you throw it, you saw the cage and you paused, it might be worth it for you to just, because you knew the Cypher was here, not to throw the nade so early so you can figure out where the trip is first and then get close and then nade and then jump out.
That makes sense.
Yep,
If
I
you
agree
know
with
that
that.
Cypher is not playing here or you're not playing against the Cypher, then throwing the nade back here where you did it here makes perfect sense because you'll be able to just run up on the timing anyways.
You know, basically timing wise, I want to fight with a nade.
And this
And
is
that's
this is kind of the point that he was making before too. Toss the nade out disperses people. So when we're trying to skill in through heaven, for example, toss the nade disperses people. People move around. This is where you have a chance to now move into it and fight. So this is like, it's kind of like your site initiation, if you will. To add to this point, if we're now adding this protocol to our entry here, we need to be thinking about how we communicate this to our team. Say, as soon as I throw nade, we're going in, or I'm going in. And you can do that in pre-round, and you can reinforce that in an action comm when you go to throw your nade as well.
I really don't know what you're supposed to do here.
Me neither, dude.
This is what we talked about. You need to go work for a pick. You have a minute left on the clock. Just go and work the map at this point.
Because we already dropped the smokes. We didn't have map control because we went 5 long. This guy got spammed through a smoke. I guess the only option here you have is reset hookah for a kill.
Yep.
Because you can't peek long, right? Because they have the
The thing. Yeah.
It's not about re-peeking long and going for a fight here. It's about them knowing that we could exist here. Now, if they don't recontest this area, much like we talked about with showers earlier on in the VOD, you basically hold them back here. So they have to prove to us that they're willing to recontest an area and take that space from us. And most of the time in ranked, you're never going to see that.
law. Yeah.
So you have the value already of the map control in this section. You can back out and work another area and then hit that bomb site if things go well. But we have to change up the position that we're in and fight somewhere else.
So yeah, it's probably like a reset hookah angle, or if you're being really proactive because you realize you have no map control, you just run back to showers and try to reclaim instead of TPing. It is worth noting, this is specifically Oxy that I saw. He starts the round literally just by swinging if they don't have op. They don't have an op agent, but they do have op money. So if that's your reason not to go for the white swing, that's fine. If I was, you know, in an immortal lobby and I just wanted to take gun duels, I probably would go for it. Because there is merit to just taking dry duels.
Like, they're not just good.
When you're on offense versus defense, there's definitely merit.
You should be comfortable taking dry duels until they make you respect the op, right? And you made them respect the outlaw really early on, but they haven't made you on your attack side respect the scope weapon. So
yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
So we're struggling right now on attack side, right? I guess just be okay with
same token though. Again, yeah, sure, you could take dry fights, but do we need to? And do we have someone who could enable us on those spaces? Yeah, 100%. Dizzy can be thrown in and just increase the chance of it. Force them to fall back. Why take a dry fight when you can just take... The whole goal is to get control over long. It's not about killing the other person. Control long is the main factor and priority here, which is just... This, if anything, frustrates me because we're now coaching him to take fights on a space that is a 50-50 versus the actual achievable goal. What we're trying to do is force them to go back so that we can execute. That's what we should be looking at. We don't need to kill anyone here, right? Now, in DOPAI'S defense, the way that he's thinking about this is that if I have Woohoojin challenge these guys and then Woohoojin diffs them, they're not going to want to challenge the space anymore. And there's some logic behind that, 100%. And now you basically just run in and you start running them down. So there's definitely some logic in that. But we shouldn't be focusing on trying to coach a person, in my opinion, on gun skill fights and going for that. We should be thinking about strategy. What is the higher percentage chance of winning? Always going for strategy. If you can outstrat the other person, then it doesn't matter what kind of gun skill you bring into the game, really, you can pretty much dominate them, because at the end of the day, if you're not as good as a shot as them, if you put them in the most awkward positions possible, you will win most of your gunfights in that situation. This is where I would get called for sure. No chance to win here.
No way.
One bench.
I like that you're ready, like your AD spamming here. Can't break the gecko. Oh. Okay.
He's pushing me, U-Haul Gecko? Oh, never mind, you're the same thing. Swinging U-Haul.
So, what does DOPAI think? Should we have Gecko ult or call for it?
Well, now.
I mean, obviously, if you kill the Gecko ult, you win. I mean, what would be the other thing? Probably nothing, right? You have the judge U-Haul, you have to hold this down. Yeah, there's not really any other play.
Huh? I hard disagree.
Oh man, this T-side is rough. Literally the only thing I can think.
Why not? We end up seeing what the Gecko ends up using it for, which is absolutely nothing. I think we need to look at this from a more macro perspective. I love hearing DOPAI'S perspective on this and his thoughts. It's always cool to get multiple coaches' perspective. It's what I recommend you to do as well. Don't just listen to me. Don't just listen to Woohoojin. Listen to a multiple bit of sources. Find truths from everyone and apply it to your gameplay so that you can improve. Thank you so much for watching again. I'm excited to do more.